Final Gather gives great results for ambient light splashing through your scene. However, it's not usually well suited to animations due to excessive render times and flickering issues. Now, as we saw before, you can work around the flickering by using the Final Gather option, Project Points Along Camera Path. However, that doesn't solve the problem of the render times. So ambient occlusion is a way out of this problem, because we can get pretty good results with ambient occlusion and not use Final Gather at all. So here are 3 images to illustrate the power of ambient occlusion for scene-wide fake global illumination, or what I call a poor man's global illumination. On the left we have an image with no ambient light at all and Final Gather disabled. And of course, not very believable because we have absolute solid black here in the shadow areas that are not illuminated by the sun, sky, or sky portals. Here we have an ambient light, which is not using ambient occlusion. And this is a little bit better, but still nowhere near good enough. Look at how flat this wall is. We've just traded an absolutely black wall for an absolutely gray wall. And for example, look in the corner here. You can't even see the corner. It's all just gray straight through there. So this is just an ambient light with no occlusion. And then the third image we'll see here is the full render with scene-wide ambient occlusion. And that's what we're going to do in this chapter. Now you could use Arch and Design to get a similar effect, but the issue is that Arch and Design ambient occlusion is going to be slower. Also, you might not want to use Arch and Design materials on all of your objects due to render times or whatever. Maybe you've got standard materials and you want to keep them, but you still want the effect of ambient occlusion. The technique I'm going to show you will allow you to get ambient occlusion with any materials. So you don't have to use Arch and Design or Pro materials. So you don't have to wait for the long render times, and it's really quite effective. The other thing is that if you do it the way I'm about to show you, you will get actually more options and control than you do with Arch and Design. With one exception, you won't get accurate color bleeding. So we won't actually get color splashing from one surface to another. It's just basic illumination without color bleed. But in most cases, it's going to be good enough, and especially for walkthroughs, this is what I recommend you do. So we're going to take a look at poor man's global illumination with scene-wide ambient occlusion.